Welcome to the 12th sign reading for the week. Well, not the week, but July 16th through the 21st of 2024. I know what you're thinking. It's the past. Well, I'm finishing up loose ends, and I'm tying up loose ends, and tomorrow I'm going to finish it. I'm going to do Saturn in Aries on tomorrow's podcast, discussing the themes of Saturn in Aries, doing an actual podcast episode about that, because it's about time that I wanted to do that, just so that you can get the both 12 sign horoscope and the collective on the podcast. So the 12 sign horoscope for the Saturn in Aries I did back in March, beginning of March, and then the collective video I'll do tomorrow, very, very early in the morning, probably. Then this week will be, most of the days I will be posting on this podcast, but not Thursday, because I have a family thing, medical thing again, so I won't be posting that day. I'm not scheduling ahead or anything. I cannot schedule ahead. I cannot schedule videos ahead. I cannot do that. So today's conversation is looking at the days of July 16th through the 21st and how it impacts all 12 signs. So let's dive right in. Follow along for your sun, moon, and rising sign. If you don't know your moon and rising sign, you can go to astro.com, put that information in, and you will find that information. So starting with Aries. Very, very first thing here is what kind of self-awareness can you have? Because self-awareness is really, really looking at your thoughts and behaviors and mindsets and actions and being aware of them, being aware of why you do them, the motivations that you have behind it, how they impact others. I'll be doing a video on self-awareness sometime this month in June, sometime in the future. I'll get to it. It's on my list, my mental list. Maybe I'll write it down sometime, I don't know. But self-awareness. Oh, this is a very, very difficult lesson to learn, and this is crossing some boundaries with my own personal beliefs. I put out some really, really wrong videos back in March, and they got, other people in my community were very, very uncomfortable with them. And what also happened is that, my family and I had arguments about it, and I had my voice in my head, so I wasn't thinking clearly, with that. But, it's like, it was from the inside out. It was from the inside out. It wasn't from the outside in. It was from the outside in, not the inside out. I will say to check in with yourself. Because, we can't be so, rigid in our own sense of self with our own opinions and feelings and needing to always have it our own way. And I'm going to talk about that later. But there's another part of self-awareness, and it's really, really being aware how your actions impact others, being very, very aware of that. And how you respond to that awareness is up to you, Aries. So long as you are aware, that's the most important thing of how you respond to others in that way. That's very, very important. Because self-awareness it's just something to be aware of. It's not necessarily, you have to always act on it just for others. No, it's for self. Because after all, it is about self. It's not for others, it's for you. So, it's really, really coming down to a lot of things with Aries energy, with all that it has to give. With all those kind of things. And so, with self-awareness, can you gather, personally when you're interacting with others? When you interact with others, when you get together with them, form relationships and form bonds with others. How is this working out for you? How is this working out for you? Because, we can be so self-focused toward our own selves and our own minds and our own actions and our own behaviors. And, what about when we actually connect with others and make a very, very important point? So, we really can learn a lot from each other. We can really learn a lot from everybody around us when it comes to how we are operating and how we are acting. And it's important to check in with yourself, Aries. Do you feel like it is coming from them, from a loving place where they respect who you are, where they see you for who you are, want the best for you, and want you to be the most authentic, best version of who you are at the highest level? Or do you feel like in your intuition, like, no, it feels right to not follow them, it feels right to go against them, it feels right to go against what they're saying, and do my own thing in my own way, and have my own opinions, have my own ideas, have my own things to act upon and actions, and all of that. That's really how it can feel for Aries. Is kind of like you sort of really get into the glasses of it. It's like discerning between one feeling and another feeling. Discerning whether you're going to be opening up to them because they see you for who you are, and they're giving you constructive criticism, or they're telling you things for your highest good because they respect you, and it's in a gentle, loving way where they really, really, becoming more self-aware through them, tapping into yourself and going, okay, yes, this is validating something within me. This is validating something that I need to change, need to rearrange in my life, need to, get into, other places about it. and needing to discover myself through this, or it can be it can be just really really not that way, because you can be really turned off by it, really just going another direction about it. So it's important to look at that. You're gathering information from your relationships, and you're gathering information from those around you, in your life, for your own sense of self, for your own sense of feeling better about yourself. And then, also, wanting all these things to happen, pushing for, all these things to happen. In a way. So, okay, so, all right, I'm back in a little bit more of a secure state of being. If you couldn't tell by the earlier part of this video, I was insecure because I was speaking my words very, very proudly. So I'm going to go throughout this in a very, very secure way, as secure as I can be. So let's just start over now, but let's continue, because I'm not going to go back and redo what I've already done, because I don't redo anything, any video whatsoever. Even if it's not perfect, I still post it. So, it's really where you push for things to happen, where it's always the push for all these kind of things to, occur in your own life. And, when you push, it's just not worth doing. It's not worth pushing, for all these type of things to occur when you just want things to happen right now. You want things to happen in an instant. Instead, receive the beauty. Receive beauty. Instead of always pushing for your goals, for your actions, for your plans, or whatever. Receiving that beauty for things. As such as compliments, being able to receive compliments, like somebody give you praise. Oh, that shed was built very, very good. Oh, that dish of pasta was cooked perfectly al dente. You really ran very, very well. You really were strong in this situation. You really stood up for the underdog. Like all these compliments, all these very, very good things, those are all positive affirmations for you. And so the more you can be in those positive affirmations and in those good qualities, then you can really, really thrive in that kind of a way. And, it comes down to it, it comes down to that really, really clearly when it comes to that beauty aspect of it. That beauty, that the beautiful quality of being in the Guadalquivir Gardens of Eden. And then needing to respect others' boundaries, needing to respect, where they're coming from. And, knowing where you end and the other begins, respecting the you and the other person, respecting that they do have a boundary, that they do have a limit, that they can't be infinite giving, or not controlling them, not wanting to, and part of Aries is being authentic, and being authentic does not mean controlling others and telling them how to live their lives and dictating how exactly what they do and exactly what they decide to do, how to live out their lives. That's not what being authentic is. It's being who you truly are, or allowing the other to be who they truly are. Also, that's what it is, available for you to understand, is that others, we need to develop boundaries so that we're not stepping on each other's foot and toes. That we're not, that we're not imposing our own goals and visions and ideas and ways of living and beliefs onto others, that we are allowing them to be their sovereign selves. And, we're also not trying to control others. We're not trying to dictate how others live their lives. We're not trying to do all those kind of things where we are messing it up and the maker shiftings of it all, and really, really, just being very, dogmatically wrong. And, we're letting others live their own lives. And then there's also an opportunity here to collaborate. Collaborating with somebody else. You don't know, what you can do in your own life unless you work with somebody else to sort of help you along with what you decide to do. You really, really, don't know what you want to do. Well, I mean, are you clear on that? For the second part of 2026, you may be a little bit unclear, but I argue that you will be very, very clear, because I am an Aries and I'm very, very clear on what I want and all those kind of things in 2026. So I think that you have a plan, Stan. I think that you have all those kind of things. So there's an opportunity to collaborate here, to work with somebody else, to combine your energy with somebody else, and to really just be your most real self with another person, because you don't know what you can achieve if you just go it alone, because you can do so many things alone. You can run all these miles, or advance your career, or become on stage and produce a lot of songs, or plant a lot of trees in a big garden, but you never know how much you can expand the garden if you're with somebody. Maybe they put new ideas of bamboo crops or coconuts or pineapples, and you're like, I didn't even think of growing those crops. That didn't even cross my mind. So they can really, really spark ideas in you to add something, not replace something, but add something to your already great and realistic. Well, because I think that Aries has a really very practical side to it, and enthusiastic ideas that you have. So putting your actions, with somebody else doing that. And then there's sort of like three ideas that were clumped together, and so I separated them into one. So then there's always this need to be, always have your way all the time, Aries. Always need to be the one, in charge, my way or the highway. When I was little and when I was in my Aries energy, there's all kinds of, ways where I constantly needed, where others needed my permission to do things. I was, where it needed to be my way or the highway. And so there's need for it to be your way or the highway, and, your way, and you're the best, and you're the smartest, and you're the most, strong, and you want to be in control. You want to be in charge. You want to get what you want, and you don't want anyone to stop you. And so this kind of holds you back, because this need to always have it go your way or the highway with whatever you want in your life. Not whatever you need, but whatever you want. And there's a constant need for it to be your own way. The actress who played P.L. Travers, Emma Thompson in Saving Mr. Banks, is an Aries Sun, Aries South node. And there's a thing with, the character that she played was, saying, "What's my film and I want to have it my way." And that Libra North Node is really about, if P.L. Travers actually had a P.L. North Node, about being able to assert yourself and not sacrifice your own ideas and what you want for the film of Mary Poppins, but to also be open to others' ideas and go with the flow of what others want in addition to your own. And I think that you're seeing the word that I'm sort of coming to this conclusion. So how can you, release this need to always have it go your way this time, and to go with the flow, to flow in a way where you are surrendering to the process, you are forming healthy relationships, and you are connected, and you are honest and assertive, but you're not aggressing and dominating over others, and you're not power over, and you're not forming an acquisitional type relationship with others where you are the dominator, you are the one in control, and everybody else is below you. Like, humans, are just as worthy as you are to shine and to have their ideas put into action, and for their ideas to also matter and also be very, very, important, and for those ideas to really matter. That's what needs to be kept in mind for Aries at this time, is to be able to trust in spirit, trust in the sign, see the sign. Like, if spirit wants you to flow in a way with being open, and adapting your point of view, adapting your mindset, flowing and working with others and collaborating, and not just being, so incredibly selfish, then that's where that can really, really be hugely important. So at this time, how can you be open in a way where you're not sacrificing what you want, you're just not being so aggressive and selfish about it? So moving on to Taurus now. So, when it comes to Taurus, it really, really is all about, because Taurus can get stuck in a lot of interests that can be the same interests. The same things. The trees, the chocolates, the nice stuffed shells, the nice table that you hold so dear, the nice family member that you really, really, whom you really, really love deeply. That these things that you get fixed, and because you want the comfort from that, because you want the comfort from all those kind of things, with needing the familiarity and needing the security and needing the same thing every single time and not wanting to change it. This is asking you to open up and change your interests, and change, diversifying your interests instead of being so fixated on one little thing, and then just sticking only to that, not opening up. Uranus energy asks you to be open-minded and to open up to new perspectives and all those kind of things like that with what you're doing. Instead of only being interested in certain things. How can you be interested in multiple things? Being interested in multiple different things at one time. And And yeah, so Taurus can have the ability to open up, but they need to be flexible. Not an easy thing for Taurus is flexibility. And opening up to multiple different stages or different areas with the multiple things that it's learning and experiencing for itself, in its own particular life circumstances, and all those kind of things like that. Okay. So it's about opening your mind, opening to, new perspectives and, yeah. So, that's really, what it is when it comes down to it. And, where are you getting too attached to, to home life? Where is that attachment to, your home, your ground base, your gramophone, your coffee table, your the money in your bank, the kitchen tools. We're getting too attached to all those things for security, for stability, and that's keeping you from really, really living, fully, in your own life and in your own, being. And so where can you, start working again? Where can you, really, really start working? And, all those kind of things, with, what you're doing. So, where are you too attached to, just the material security and, material possessions and, all those kind of things. So where is this attachment really, really holding you back, in your life, and in your own being? Where is the attachment to all these material things keeping you from really, really living? And the final thing is, instead of, sitting around with these material pleasures, with these security blankets of possessions, of all these kind of things, understanding, the benefits of getting out there, making things happen in the world, exercising, moving your body, exercising your physical body, and doing all those kind of things like that. When it comes to, your physical body getting exercised, with what it's doing. So, and yeah. All right. Understanding this is very, very important. Now, moving on to Taurus, or moving on to Gemini now. I've spent enough time on Taurus. So, let's look at with Gemini. With Gemini, a good, a good leader, leads with integrity, leads with putting themselves, leads with, putting themselves with, thinking of the good of the group, leading with the sense of truth. And Gemini, at best doesn't have that, sense of truth to it, where it can be really, really just lagging within itself. And it can really, really lose integrity. Really, really lose a lot of integrity with what it is doing. And it's very, very important to have deep group relationships, not to engage in superficial or light or airy conversations, but to form those deep bonds with groups and, conversations. And okay, so with leading groups, you want to show integrity. You really, really want to show that you are being very honest and truthful with, with really, whatever you're doing, and that your conversations are deep. That you are really, really getting to know the group members, really, really getting to bond very, very deeply with the group members, and it's working out for you. So then, it's also about, enjoying the ease of intellectual conversations, enjoying this ease, really, really huge ways, because, okay. So with conversations, you want to be very, very open, as open-minded as you can with conversations, as open-minded as you possibly can, as open-minded as you can be, very, very deeply open-minded. And it's about being with those who feel right for you. Being with the people that, feel right, in a way, not with, having to go to this person, having to always cater to this person, and, be with this person who's just trying to engage with them intellectually, and they're just not right for you. They're just, not working out for you. And they're just really, really, asking so many demands, and you're indecisive with how should I follow them and all that. And you're in the ego-logical mind with all that kind of thing. And, and focus on those who are very, very simple for you, really, really respect you for who you are and the choices that you authentically want to make in your own lives. And with these intellectual conversations, you can really, really enjoy that carne. And then, where can others depend on you for them? Where can others depend on you to be there for them? Because Gemini is sort of a free, spontaneous sign. You're going in, going in all directions, and you having to always, be free and be spontaneous, because you don't want to be, bound down to, whatever is, going on. So, where can, others depend on you to be there for them? And then how is this need for stimulation, for the need to always be free and spontaneous and, all over the place, going to this place, I'm going to that place, keeping you from following your promises that you need to follow to the people that you value and care about? Respect should be given, trust should be earned, and where can you better and strengthen your trust with others, strengthening your trust with other people, and really, really growing that trust, really, really growing that personal sense of trust and love and care and connection with them in that kind of way, really, really especially. So that's the thing about for Gemini. For Cancer, instead of, the emotions, like getting so caught in your emotions, because Cancer is so caught in the feelings and how it feels and what its mood is, it's time to, intellectualize it, think about your, feelings. Bring words to it, because Cancer can be so in the feeling state of, so in the actual visceral experience of feeling that it forgets to also bring it up into the mind, think that, oh, I can bring words to this. I can bring verbal expression to all this. And it's about finding things to take you out of your emotions, finding things to bring you out of your very, very deep, emotional state, with whatever you're really doing, and where you can, get out of, your emotions, and not, having to live in that reality of just being stuck in the sadness, being stuck in the fear, all those kind of things like that. And really, really, living in this kind of way with, in the mind, and being able to think, being able to learn, being able to be spontaneous. And also, how can you express your emotions verbally in articulate ways? How can you bring words and bring dialogue and bring really, really well spoken out dialogue to your emotions, to really, really emphasize what you want to on an emotional level? And being strong with your gift of the gab, when it comes to speaking about these feelings, when it comes to learning about all these things and reading those books that you're interested in learning about those subject matters or those fiction books, watching those videos in the comfort of your own home, connecting with your family and learning from them, and them teaching you things and forming a more intellectual relationship where you are talking, exchanging about ideas and about learning and opening your mind. And you can find emotional comfort, emotional comfort and solace, when you open your mind to what they have to give and tell you. You can find that emotional connection to, to intellectual topics where you feel like you're not plunging into the emotions. Like, it's safe for Cancer to also get out of the emotions because a part of them doesn't want to be stuck. And when you're on the fairy land of just talking about ideas and books and all those things, there's a comfort here. There is a secure sense of comfort, and a sense of feeling at home, and a sense of feeling nourished and relaxed because you're getting out of the emotions, and you're feeling neutral, you're feeling calm, you're feeling grounded, you're not feeling in the sadness and the whatever. So it can be very helpful for Cancer to really, really tap into that. And then also looking at your roots, looking at where you come from with your roots. And because Cancer is the 4th house in your natal chart. Cancer is the 4th house. Your roots, your your lineage, your ancestors, and all those kind of things like that. And it can really be, where you look at your own roots. And look at, do you feel nurtured when it comes to these roots? And do they bring you a sense of nurturing and calm, and all these kind of things? Do they bring you this really, really nice thing here with what they are doing? So, do these roots make you feel nurtured or nourished or not? That's the question you can ask. And then moving on to Leo, it's really about looking at those inside your close circle, seeing those people for who they are, and looking at those, and instead of being so stubborn-minded, like, I gotta have it my way, I gotta achieve my own goals, no matter what, with going on and all those kind of things like that. So how can you collaborate with these people in these groups? How can you bond in a kind of way where you're really, really forming those positive relationships with those in these groups? It's really where the stubborn-mindedness quality of needing to always be in charge and have it always go your way and always needing to be in control and all those kind of things, where is that not working out for you? And, where this need for, it's about collaborating, being open to collaborating, working with others, and listening to what, your heart wants. Listen deeply. What does your heart want on a deep level? What does it really, really want for you? And it's about receiving the heart-centered love from others. So not only are you listening to your own heart and what you feel is right in your own heart for you to do creatively and, and with whatever you're doing. And you're receiving the heart-centered love from others. You're receiving that beauty and that love that others can give you with whatever you are deciding to do. So how can you open up to this love and open up to receive love? It's really, really huge. And then who can truly help you to lean into and follow your heart? Maybe you're in your head, maybe you're in your ego, not really listening to your heart, not really listening to what truly feels right for you to express creatively, to express magnetically, to express with magnanimity, to express with courage. And so who can help you to get into that heart-centered space with listening and following them? Virgo. Virgo can be, really, really attached to, to routines. And that's what it can easily be. It can be really, really caught up in the, the routine. This has to go a certain way. I can't go off the routine. I have to follow these, dot in these orange dots and put the carrots in the fridge and then put the celery in there with them and prepare the meal in this way, clean up the house, do the laundry, do the errands, do all the shopping, all these things on its daily to-do list, like all these thousands of details of life that it has to take care of, because Virgo has thousands of details of life. And so how can you not be so attached to the routines and for things needing to be the exact same all the time? Needing for things to be the same. With with what you're doing, with this routine, really. So how can you change it up? How can you change up what you're doing so that it feels more flowing, it feels more inviting for you, it feels easier for you, it feels more graceful for you. And really that's what it comes down to, is where you are changing it up. Where you're changing this up and making it so that you're not stuck in the details and stuck in the same routines over and over again. Not choosing to vary it, not choosing to expand beyond this little box, these little routines that you're so small into. Now how can you take control in your life as opposed to being subservient to others? How can you take control when it comes to being open to others' gifts and their own sense of what they have to offer, but not in a way that hinders you? So, taking control in your life really comes down to being not letting others dictate your routines, not letting others dictate your own sense of what you're doing and how you're doing it, and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. But being a leader, being a leader who who serves others, is really, really huge for you to step into that role. I think is huge because Virgo can be pretty behind the scenes, not wanting a whole lot of power, not wanting a whole lot of control, although they do want to be in control at the same time. It's this kind of dicey dynamic here. But needing to be a leader where they are in charge and needing to, always be the ones in the dog graciousness of being, where they are, where they have a sense of control, a sense of being in charge, with not judging others and tearing others down because of that they're not perfect and they're not living up to their standards, but doing it in a way where everyone feels valued and equally respected and appreciated. And then where do you clean up and then move on? Where is this need to clean up, in your own lives, in your own very being within you? This need is sort of, clean things up in a relationship. Clean up the mop, clean up the mess. Clean up all the crumbs on the floor and the person's stuff and the person's well-being and the person's state of mind and all their stuff. And then, moving on from that. And then how can you stay in a constant self-improvement style relationship where the two partners are mutually loving each other, where they're helping each other to improve with love and care and respect for each other as they are, not trying to judge and belittle and criticize and tear the other person to shreds because they're not perfect and they're not good enough and they're flawed, but to help them along with improving themselves equally in the relationship. So, one person, suggests this to another, and they do it, and they help out the other person, and then they help out each other, like where they're helping out each other in a relationship. And I can't show you exactly how self-improvement between two partners will look, but I can tell you that self-improvement is a big deity for this kind of thing. And so a relationship that is self-improving, self-serving, where it involves the two partners really, really serving what they have to give, and improving all of their stuff and improving each other, helping each other to grow. That's where the real growth can thrive. And then Libra. Let's talk about Libra now. So, with Libra, it really, really is about being open to new people and ideas. Really, really being open to new things, new interests, new paths, new pyramids, new books, new subject matters, like all those kind of things, new zebras. So, it's about, relationships with Libra energy. Being open to new relationships, being open to actually take an active role. Like, what, I want to get out there and I want to meet somebody. I want to interact with somebody and I want to meet people. I want to meet people, I want to get to know them, I want to get to know how they tick, I want to see what their philosophy is of life. I want to interact and have a harmonious relationship dialogue with them. And it's about being open to new people. Being open to new people. New people that you've never met before. And, and getting into, interacting with them. Really. So, how can you be, open to all this in very, very strong ways with, all these new individuals that are coming into your life, and how can you form bonds and interact with these people? That's really the key for you here, is open-mindedness. And the next thing is who really helps you feel a sense of equilibrium within yourself, and who really helps you feel balance within yourself, and content within yourself, who serves you and helps you feel balanced and sovereign within yourself, because you don't deserve to be with people who don't make you feel that, who keep you away from feeling that. You deserve to be with people who will make you more focused on your own life, on your own goals, on your own state of being and beliefs and what you want to put out into the world and all that kind of stuff. You deserve to be with those who lift you up, who inspire you, who make you feel calm and grounded, and make you feel loved and appreciated. Not, oh, you have to please them, oh, you have to just give to them, they are so dominating, and they are so stubborn, and they are so selfish that you have to cater to their needs and be the people pleaser. And it's like a Darman film that I was seeing, where the husband had his men around the table, and his wife could not enjoy the meal, and so what happened was, the husband, basically asked the wife, could you get me some hot sauce or whatever, and she got up that, and then one of the guys asked something, and then she was like, and he was like, okay, I'll take care of it for you. Honey, can you give me this? And so she kept getting up, over and over again in the meal, and then as she got up, her food got eaten, and by the end of the meal, she was left with nothing. I mean, isn't that sad? And the guy was like, how could you be so inconsiderate to not spend time with, not spend time with my friends or whatever. And look yourself in the mirror, mister. Look yourself in the mirror. You asked your wife to do all these things, so she was busy helping you and pleasing you with all these things in the kitchen or whatever, that you, that you didn't have the backbone to do it yourself. And that she was so busy doing that she didn't have time to spend time with the people that were invited over. So that's what I'm talking about, is that person, that husband, doesn't make you, or that wife, because it can be you could be male, like there are male Libras. Libra's not stereotypical female sign, but whoever you're in relationship with, romantic or whoever, could make you feel like you have to please them, and that is not the proper relationship for a Libra to be in. That is not healthy relating, and that is not what a relationship should be. Libras are here to relate in a healthy, evolved way to others, not in a wrong way. So, who really serves you, and those who ask you to people please for them don't serve you. And also forming mutual relationships where you aren't doing all the work for the other person, where you're carrying the weight, like that situation. Kind of the same point here. Mutual relationships, which involve a lot of different types of things like that, with carrying the weight with the other person, where they're both carrying the weight. We're not, you are not always doing the heavy lifting, or the other person is not all doing the heavy lifting, the other person just sitting back and relaxing, not doing anything. With the relationship, it has to be 50-50. Both partners have to be equally serving each other, and both partners are treated equally, and both partners benefit from each other's company and each other's relating. So, Scorpio has a sort of allure to them, with what they, decide to do, and what they decide to, put out. There's an allure to Scorpio. That they just attract people in because of their, magnetically, they just have a way of drawing people in because of their magnetic energy, because of their attracting energy. They just draw people in. And the more powerful and strong you are within yourself, with what you are doing, the more those will be drawn to you. So, like attracts like. If you are insecure about yourself, and if you don't feel secure in your own skin, and you feel really, really, insecure, and really just mapped all the basins, then you'll attract all those who are also mapped out the basins. What you want to do is attract those in who also match your sort of power to you, who are also power mirroring back to you in your own life of what you have to give, of what you have to share. And they're really, really respecting who you are in that kind of way. Where they themselves are, really, really strong and within themselves. So that you can further become more strong within yourself because you manifested in this kind of person into your life. And then, maybe you've, denied your shadows. Maybe all throughout your, your life or recently, you denied your shadows and pushed your shadows down in your life. Because it's very, very difficult to look at your own stuff, your own problems, your own psychological baggage, your own difficulty with, with issues of all that kind of thing, with really, this exactly. So where are you comfortable with everyone else's stuff? Where are you overcaught in other people's business, what everyone else is doing, instead of your own business? Instead of your own business, and where you're facing your own stuff. You're facing your own stuff. I wonder if the moon is void of course today, because I'm kind of feeling really, really spacey, and I'm not as sharp as I usually am. So if you can't tell by this video, I wonder about that, because when the moon's void of course, it always is very, very spacey. So I'm just wondering about that today, because as I'm doing this video, like the ideas are not coming to me as fluidly as they usually do. But anyway, I'm persisting. And I'm not going to be a perfectionist over this. It is whatever it will be, and I post it anyway. So, I'm not a perfectionist, because I will always be in different moods every single time. Always be thinking different things, feeling different ways every single time, and so I have to respect that. Anyway, I will not be redoing any episode in this podcast at all. It is what it will be when I post it, how I post it, what kind of mood I am, what I say, whatever. It is what it is. So, you use others' problems and others' deals and others' lives and others' shadows as a coping mechanism against your own, issues, your own stuff. Use it as a coping mechanism. And, where are you really, really comfortable with, others' shadows and what others are doing and what others are thinking, and not focusing on your own life and your own way? And so, where are you saying yes to merging with another? Where are you saying yes to combining your energy and being a synergy force at the wall bakery for the other, and just the other person wants you to merge, and the other person wants you to be powerful with them, or you are getting yourself into others' business where you are merging energies, because Scorpio is the merging of energies. It's the merging of power. You're merging your emotional and energetic flavors within to the other person. With another. And so where you're saying yes to just combining in and not putting boundaries up to that, and how can that person take your power from you? How can that other person take your power from you? And do you feel powerful, Scorpio? Do you feel powerful, in your own skin, in your own life, with what you're doing, with how you want to, live your life and all that? And, and, and how is this person taking away from your own sense of power, about yourself? Do you feel powerful? Do you really, really feel powerful to be that person that is so very, very wise beyond your years, someone who has a lot of control? And where do you need to let it go and move on? Where do you need to let this powerful relationship where you're merging and it's just not serving your growth, or the person's draining your power from you, or the energetic connection is cut off or off, and where do you need to just move on? Now, Sagittarius, as you go through your life, it's very, very important to really, really look at the wisdom that you collect from others. What wisdom do you get from others in your life? And how is that wisdom really, serving you? And how can you expand from that wisdom? How is others' wisdom and, that you gain along your pathway, like knowledge plus experience equals wisdom? And so Sagittarius is a sign of, wisdom. And it travels to all these places. It has all these experiences. It has it one time, and then another time, and another time, and then throughout all these years of its life, it gathers all these experiences into its very, very wise self, with wanting to expand itself, wanting to grow itself, and it wants to really, really grow and live life to the fullest, like that Sagittarius energy. It's very much about philosophy. All those things that's ruled by Jupiter. So, how can you expand with the wisdom that others have given you, with the advice, with the guidance that others have given you? Others have planted to say that you can write on telephone lines. So, well, I want to write on telephone lines, so I will expand and experience the writing on telephone lines and see how it is. And through that experience, I gain wisdom, I gain traction through that. And then, who can help you to expand in that way? Who can help you to really, really grow, and which choices can help you grow, and which choices can hold you back from your growth. Really, that's really, really huge to keep in mind here. What choices support your growth when it comes to you being the best version of who you are, and which choices just hinder you from growing, and lean into what feels right, move along in your path. Lean into that inner feeling that you just like, no, this feels right, and I want to go in this direction because I want to grow in this way. Move along on that path. Capricorn. Now, for Capricorn, it's really about forming mutual relationships, because Capricorn has a tendency to want to do all the work, want to be in control all the time. They feel like they constantly have to be the leader of the group. They're the one in charge because they've mastered themselves. There's constant need to be in control over the realm because they want something stable. They want the long term, and they feel like, they say that if you want it done right, do it yourself. And there's this feeling with Capricorn that that they are the only one who knows how to do it right, and so they are the only one that can do it, and that's simply not true. Whereas mutual relationships are where you are supporting each other in the relationship. You are supporting, you are supporting them, and they are supporting you. And that's what a mutual relationship is, with your values and with your ideas and with your goals and all that. So it's not good for Capricorn to do all the work for the other person, to do the cooking, the kitchen cleanup, or the building of stability, or the finding the nice house for the person, or putting in all this time and effort and energy into making the relationship work, and the other person's not giving even 50%. So, where does that come into play here? Where does that come into play? And, where can the other person, support you in that kind of way with, whatever they are deciding to do? And lead in a way. Capricorn is leading. Capricorn is a sign of leadership. It's cardinal Earth, and it's about not being almighty and powerful and wanting the control, wanting to be in control of the group, and wanting to be in control of the band, and have your way and have what you want to do at all times. But it's about focusing on selfless benefits, focusing on serving the group as opposed to your own sense of self, your own, gaining your own power and your own control. It's about really, really not having all the power and control and just getting the money and getting the attention and getting recognition. Like a group leader is not for it to please you. Not for it to please, you and make yourself feel secure and happy, but it is to please, but it is to please the group, really. But it is for selfless group benefits. It's to make the group satisfied and happy in that way. So, and then also, being curious and opening up to new insight. As opposed to investing all your energy into your goals. Instead of focusing your energy and climbing up the ladder and committing to all these goals and making the money and getting your career goals out of the way and building something stable and long term with your teaching career or your business career in a cubicle or your singing career, like whatever career the Capricorn is in, it does it the best. It wants to put 110% effort into what it decides to do. It wants to go above and beyond what is expected. It does not want to just do enough to get by. It doesn't want to give the bare minimum. So how can you be curious and open up to new ideas when it comes to implementing? I'm going along with this goal, and this new idea comes into my mind, like, I could implement this. Like I didn't know that I could really implement this. This is new information for me. I didn't think about it this way before. This is a new thing that gave me new perspective. So that gives me new perspective. So how can you be open to insights from others that can help you advance your career and become better at your career? In a way, where you're opening up to insight about yourself and reflecting on yourself and your own truth and being really, really aware of yourself, to look at yourself deeply and see how open you are. Are you open to new ideas? Are you open to insight? That's up to you, Capricorn. Aquarius. For Aquarius individuals, you really, really want to be open to those from all different walks of life. Than your own, learning about them, learning about those who come from these different areas and arenas. As Aquarius is that. Aquarius is, different walks of life and all those kind of things like that. It is looking at different walks of life rather than your own. So can you be open to the people from Mexico, the people from Spain, the people from all these places that you never knew, learn about their culture, learn about their way of being, and can you get out of your head and into your body? Can you get out of your head into, because Aquarius is so in the head with all the ideas, with all the mind thinking chatter, thoughts and attention, all that. So can you move energy in a way that's very rebellious, in a way where you're rebelling against others in that kind of way, and you are focusing on that strongly, moving energy in that kind of way that is showing your rebellious side to who you are. How can you be rebellious in a way where you are boxing or not even that, but walking at your own pace and not following others, having your own exercise routine and not others' exercise routines that they carve out for you. So how can you exercise in a rebellious way? And then also, how can you collaborate with kindness and open-mindedness? Because Aquarius is really, really kind and open-minded. Or, or it aspires to be kind and open-minded. So that's at least what it does. Where it is very, very open to the other and open to new ideas and open to engaging with the world. Open to understanding the world and how it goes about and what's going on with it. And can you be open to anyone, anyone's ideas, anyone's perspective on life, anyone's philosophy, and not being so stubborn in your own principles that you're just so resistant to, anything really, and, what they're doing, and all of that. Where you're not stubbornly focused on, your own goals, your own life, or your own, beliefs, and being so rigid in those beliefs and principles that you just harshly dismiss and tear down everybody else, for their, ideas and ideals and their own principles, their own sense of what they feel is right and true for them. So where can that also come into play here? And then finally, Pisces. You receive the love from others and open up to their compassion. We are opening up to compassion. We're opening up to the love of what is really, really going on in that kind of way. Where it is safe to open up. It is safe to open yourself up in a way where it's not, unsafe, and it's not wrong to do this. Where, you can open yourself up to others in love and open up to their compassion and all that. And, you're receiving from them, receiving all this energy and attention and care from others. And Pisces is just so gentle, wants peace, wants harmony. And if you can open up to others with the compassion that they have to give you, in terms of who they are, they're very, very, likely surround yourself with people who are kind, who are emotionally tender and sensitive and compassionate, and open up to their own sense of compassion about themselves. And then it's also good to not get swayed along with what everyone wants from you. Do not get swayed along with what everyone wants when you just sacrifice yourself. Because Pisces has a tendency to put everybody's needs before its own. Puts everybody's errands, everybody's emotional needs, everybody's physical needs, all those things before its own. And it sacrifices itself. It doesn't think about itself first. And you cannot cannot pour from an empty well or an empty cup. You have to fill up your own cup first and nurture yourself and take care of the self. And, where you are sacrificing who you are in the process of helping others through this infinite compassion, through this really, really, supporting others and, helping others, with whatever you're doing, really, you can sacrifice your own sense of self, where you can be so compassionate that there's no boundaries to your compassion. It's boundless compassion. Sometimes that boundless compassion is just over-giving your energy and time and all of that and your resources, where then you feel drained by that, and you feel like then you feel a victim because you feel really, really drained and overwhelmed, and not knowing where you and others begin, not having a clear sense of self, a clear sense of boundaries and footing on life. So it's, what it's really about is, is being true to your own choices. Being true to your own choices with this, what you want, really, what you truly want. in your own, ideas of all these kind of things. So, how can you be true to your own choices? Form your own decisions, form your own sovereign decisions about life. And, really, it's about, focusing your mind on what you were saying. Focusing your mind on, what you're saying in your out loud sort of state of being, so that you don't have miscommunications because of the delusions of what others are saying, where you get caught into miscommunicating with them, not saying like, oh, what did you say again? I didn't hear that clearly. I was in my head. I was dreaming. I was in the fantasy realm. What did you say again? I didn't hear that clearly. So notice how you get into fantasy, get into the fantasy land with yourself, where you get into delusions and disillusions, and the sights, getting caught in the sights and the beauty of the seaside and the countryside and the bridge or whatever, and not really having clear communication, not being able to understand each other properly. So do be mindful of speaking clearly, having a point, and being very honest and transparent about these points. So that's what I have to say for Pisces and all the signs for July 16th through 21st, 2024. This is sort of tying up loose ends. I will be back tomorrow very, very early in the morning for Saturn in Aries in the natal birth chart. We're going to be discussing that placement in depth, or discussing the transit in depth of what that is about for the collective on tomorrow's podcast. When I do that, I'll be using the same picture as I used for the 12 sign video. I've already done Saturn and Aries for the 12 signs. I have a video on my YouTube channel for it, but I want to do a podcast video, an audio video in this podcast for Saturn and Aries. So I want you to tune in for that tomorrow. But anyway, that is all for now. In my humble opinion, this video is not my best video. Throughout this video, I was very, very insecure. Very, sort of getting by the best I could. But, some days are just going to be where I'm more energetic and feeling more secure within myself, and the other days not so much. And today's just kind of a more slightly off day for me, but that's okay. I cannot be the same and perfect in my total energetic self every single day, all day long. So anyway, whatever it is, and I'm gonna be okay with it no matter what. So anyway, that's all I have to say, and I will see you on tomorrow's episode, where I will be hopefully discussing Saturn and Aries, going in depth about what that transit from 2026 to 2028 means. I want to get these things resolved before I move on to the to the Mars and Gemini podcast episode, because I want to talk about Mars and Gemini in the birth chart on Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, if I can get to it. So anyway, bye for now.